So we'll start reading Act 3 on page 64. Everyone has that down. Give you a second to get there. This is a long act. We may end up with an early break. We'll see. But it is a long act. It's about 40 pages. So. Okay, so Act 3, page 64. So scene 1 here is we have Claudius and Ophelia. Claudius and Polonius are going to use Ophelia as a decoy while they spy on Hamlet, and the king's going to decide eventually he needs to get rid of Hamlet. I'm going to send him to England. If you remember, Act 2 left off where they concocted this plan. It's like, let's see what Hamlet's really going on. We're gonna arrange that your daughter's going to meet him, and we're going to hide and watch. So this is when that starts. So scene 1, enter the king, queen, Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern. If you recall, those are his 2 friends who were spying on him. And can you, by no draft of conference, get from him why he puts on this confusion? Why is he putting on this confusion? Why is he acting crazy? The king is suspicious. Graded so harshly all his days of quiet, with turbulent and dangerous lunacy. He does confess he feels himself distracted. He feels himself confused, but from what cause a will by no means speak. Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness kept aloof, when we would bring him on to some confession of his true state. Again, he's not really answering our questions very well. Like, we're not sure either. Did he receive you well? Most like a gentleman. But with much forcing of his disposition, with much forcing of how he acted. Of question, our demand, but of our demands, most free in his reply. Did you essay him to any pastime? Madame, it so fell out that certain players we ought on the way. Of these we told him, and there did seem in a kind of joy to hear of it. They are here about the court, and, as I think, they have already ordered this night to play before them. 'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter. He's trying to, Hamlet's telling me to come see these, telling you two to come see these actors. With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge, and drive his purpose into these delights. And we shall, my lord. And then exits, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern exit. For what we have sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for what we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may here affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful espials, will so bestow ourselves that, seen and unseen, we may of their encounters frankly judge, and gather by him as he is behaved, if that be the affliction of his love, or no, that thus he suffers from. Is he crazy in love, or is it something else? We're going to hide and see. I shall obey you, and for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors. Madame, I wish it may. Ophelia, walk you here, gracious, so please you, we'll bestow ourselves. Read on this book, that show of such an exercise may color your loneliness. We are oft to blame in this. 'Tis too much proved that with the devotion's visage and pious action we do sugar on the devil himself. Oh, 'tis too true, how smart a lash that speech doth give my conscience. The harlot's cheek, beautied with a plaster and art, is not more ugly than the thing that helps it. Then it is my deed to the most painted word, oh heavy burden. So again, this is the king. He's saying this all to himself, right? This is him confirming that he actually did do this. I have this burden, what I actually did. I did that ugly deed. This is him admitting to it. Now, again, it's an aside. It means he's talking to himself. I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord. And the king and Polonius exit and they go into hide. So now it's just Hamlet entering and Ophelia. So this is the most famous Shakespeare thing ever, to be or not to be. That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of trouble. And by oppose and end them, to die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation, devoutly to be wished. 'Tis wished to die, to sleep, perchance the dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of times, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pains of disparaged love, the laws the lay, the insolence of office and the spurs, the patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but under that dread of something after death, the undiscovered country, from whose bourne no travel return, puzzle the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does not make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklier over with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment. With this regard, the currents turn away and lose their name of action. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia, nymph in thy orisons, be all my sins remembered. So this entire speech is the most famous thing in all of Shakespeare. You've probably heard of that, to be or not to be somewhere. You've heard that phrase at least. And this is him talking to himself, right? This is where he's revealing how he feels. That those first few lines in particular, it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles. Is it better for him to do what he's doing now? Be patient, plot, do stuff in the shadows? Or is it more noble for him to just straight up avenge? Like I said, grab a sword and just stab the king right in front of everybody. Is that more noble than doing what he's doing right now? This is something that he's contemplating deeply. So going back there to page 68 on line 90. Ophelia, good day, my lord. How does your honor for this many a day? I humbly thank you well. My lord, I have remembrance of yours that I've longed to redeliver. I pray now you shall receive them. Hey, take your stuff back. Hamlet, no, not I. I never gave you aught. My honored lord, you know right well you did, and with them the words of sweet breath composed, as made the things more rich, their perfume lost. Take these again, for to the noble mind, rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord. So Ophelia is rejecting him yet again, and the reasoning here, those last two lines are, I think you've changed. So take your stuff back. I don't want to be with you anymore. I think you've changed. Ha ha, are you honest? My lord, are you fair? What means your lordship? That if you were honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse in your beauty. Could beauty, my lord, have been a better commerce than with honesty? Aye, truly, for the power of beauty will soon transform honesty from what it is to a bond that the force of honesty can translate beauty into likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once. Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so. You should not have believed me, for virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not, so I loved you, and I loved you not. I was the more deceived. Go thee to a nunnery. Wouldn't thou be a breeder of sinners? I am more indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse myself of such things, that if it were better my mother had not borne me. I wish I hadn't been born. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have ought to pull them in. Imagination to give them, shape or time to act them in. What should such fellows do as I do, crawling between earth and heaven? We, humans, are errant knaves. Believe none of us. Believe no people. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father? So what's he saying here? Again, every man's just a scoundrel. You know what you should do? You should go to a nunnery, vow to never touch a man again, because all men are evil. What's he saying here? He's saying, if you ever marry a guy, whether it's me, whether it's someone else, and you have kids, you're just going to breed more scum, because every human's trash. Again, total loss, faith of humanity, gone. Where is your father? At home, my lord. Then let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in one's own house. Farewell. Oh, help him, you sweet heavens. If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Thou shalt not escape calamity. Get thee to a nunnery. Farewell. Or if thou wilt needs marry a fool. For wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery go, and quickly too. Farewell. Heavenly powers, restore him. I have heard of your paintings well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourself another. You jig and amble, and you lisp. You nickname God's creatures, and you make your wantonness, your arrogance. You're pretending to be, you're trying to flirt with me, and you're pretending that you're not. Go to, I know hath on it. It hath made me sad. I say we'll have no more marriage. Those who are married already, all but one, shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery go. And Hamlet exits. So now it's just Ophelia. Oh, what a noble mind is here overthrown. He used to be so smart and confident, and now he's just different. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword, the expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and the mold of form, the observed of all observers, quiet down. And I, of ladies, most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows. Now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled out of tune and harsh, that unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me. You've probably heard that before. Woe is me. To have seen what I have seen and see what I see. So again, oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen and see what I see. Wow, this is I'm so sad, because I saw what Hamlet was, the man he was, and now I see what he is now. And so the king of Polonius exit. They were hiding, they were watching this. Love, his affections do not that way tend. It doesn't seem that it's love, nor what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in his soul. Oh, over which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do not doubt the hatch and disclose will be some danger, which, for to prevent, I have in quick determination, thus set it down. He shall speed with England, for the supply of our neglected tribute. Happily the seas and the countries different, with varied objects shall expel. So when he talks about that, set it down, on line 169. So this is when the king is now plotting to actually get rid of Hamlet. He's going to get rid of Hamlet. I need to get rid of Hamlet for the sake of England and for the sake of all the people here. He's too mad. He's too crazy. So the variable object shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brain still beaten puts him thus from fashion of himself. What don't you think? What think you on't? It shall do well, but yet I believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please, but if you hold it fit after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him. To show his grief, let her be round with him, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all their conference. If she find him not, to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall think it. So Polonius's plan here is, okay, I agree, Hamlet's weird, we got to get rid of him. But tell you what, before you do that, why don't you have him and his mother sit down and have an honest heart-to-heart talk, and we'll listen in. That's what they're saying. It shall be so. Madness in the great ones must not unwatched go. So again, here's the plan. They're going to listen into this heart-to-heart talk he has with his mother. If they deduce that he is in fact mad, he is in fact crazy, their plan is they're just going to ship him away, and that's it. If they think he's faking, they're going to kill him. That's their intentions. So act 3 and scene 2. So Hamlet lectures the players, this theater group, before their performance, which is interrupted by the king's guilty alarm, and Hamlet is summoned to an interview with his mother. So enter Hamlet and 3 of the players. Speak the speech, I pray you. I pronounce it to you, trippingly on your tongue. But if you mouth it as many as your players do, I had it as the leaf of the town crier spoke of my lines. Nor do not saw the air too much with your hand. Thus, but use all gently, for in the very torrent, tempest, and all, as I must say, whirlwind your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the soul to hear a robustious, periwig-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings. For who are the most are capable of nothing but inexplicably dumb shows and noise? I would have such a fellow whipped for the overdoing termagant. It out herodes Herod. I pray you avoid it. Basically, what he's saying here is, I want you to do this as realistic as possible. I want this to look like real life. That when you form out the scene. Don't exaggerate, make it seem realistic. I warrant your honor. Be not too tame neither, but let your own destruction be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, and with this special observance that you overstep with not the modesty of nature. For anything so is not overdone from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is to hold as 'twere the mere up to nature, to show virtue her feature, show her own image, and the very image embodied from his time and pressure. Now with the overdone comes hardy off, though it makes the unskilled laugh, which cannot but make the judicious grieve, the censure of which one must, in your allowance, overweigh a whole theater of others. Oh, there be players that I have seen play, and heard that others praise, and that highly, not to speak it profanely, but neither having the accent of Christians, nor the gait of Christians, pagan, not man, have so strutted the below that I have thought of some of nature's journeymen had made men, and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably. Again, be a good actor here, is really all he's saying. I hope we have reform that indifferently with us. Reform it altogether. Do it perfect. Practice until it's perfect. And let those play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them. For there be some of them that themselves laugh, to set on the quantity of barren spectators to laugh too. Though in the meantime, some unnecessary question of the play be then not to be considered. That's villainous, and show a most pitiful ambition in the fool that uses it. Go, make you ready. Go get ready. So the players exit, and we have Polonius, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern enter. What now, my lord? Will the king hear this piece at work? And the queen too, and that presently. Bid the players make haste. Will you two help to hasten them? Aye, my lord. And Rosencrantz and Guildenstern exit, and so does Polonius. So Hamlet and Horatio are by themselves. What ho, Horatio? Here, sweet lord, at your service. Horatio, thou art just a man, as ear with my conversation, copped withal. You're just a man. Oh, my dear lord, nay, do not think I flatter. For what advancements may I hope from thee, that no revenue hast but thy good spirits, to feed and clothe thee? What should the poor be flattered? No, let the candid tongue lick the absurd pomp, and crook the pregnant hinges of the knee. Where thrift may follow fawning, dost thou hear, since my dear soul was a mistress of her choice, and could of men distinguish her election. Shaft sealed thee for herself, for thou hast been as one, in suffering all, that suffers nothing. A man that fortune's buffets and rewards hast ta'en with equal thanks. And bless those with whose blood and judgment are so well commended, that they are not a pipe for fortune's finger, to sound what stop she please. Give me that man that is not passion's slave, and I will wear him and my heart's core in my hearts of hearts. And I do thee something too much of this. There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou dost see the act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul, observe my uncle. If his occulted guilt does not itself unkennel in one speech, it is a damned ghost that we have seen, and my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stithy. Give him heedful note, for I mine eyes to rivet to his face. So what's he saying here? He's telling Horatio his plan. I've set this thing up, and I want the king's reaction to be observed. Hamlet is not going to see it. Hamlet is telling his friend Horatio, who knows about the ghost, who knows about his father's murder, to look at him with your very soul. Like, above all else, look at him and see what his reaction is. And after that, we will both our judgments join in the censure of his seamen. Well, my lord, if I steal aught that whist while the play is playing and escape detected, I will pay the theft. I will do this. They are coming to the play. I must be idle. I have to look like I'm not doing anything. And so we enter the king, queen, Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and all the other lords. Basically, every character enters. How fares our cousin Hamlet? And Hamlet is disguised as Eden. Excellent, I faith of the chameleon's dish. I eat the air, the promised cram. You cannot feed upon so. I have nothing with his answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine. No, nor mine now. To Polonius, he says, my lord, you played once in the university, you say. That did I, my lord, and was accounted for a good actor. And what did you enact? I did enact Julius Caesar, another one of Shakespeare's play. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me. It was a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there. Are the players ready? Aye, my lord, they must stay upon your patience. Come hither, my dear Hamlet, sit by me. No, good mother, here's metal more attractive. And then it's going to Ophelia. Oh ho, do you mark that? And Hamlet starts lying down at Ophelia's feet. So they're all sitting down ready, and Hamlet goes and lays down at Ophelia's feet. Lady, shall I lie in your lap? This is sexual flirting. No, my lord, I mean my head upon your lap. Aye, my lord. Do you think I meant country matters? So again, he's making a sex joke there. I think nothing, my lord. That's a fair thought, to lie between maids' legs. What is, my lord? Nothing. You are merry, my lord. Who? I? He's really happy. He's really excited. He's really giddy at this play. Oh God, you're only jig maker. What should a man do but be merry? For look at how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father's died within 2 hours. Nay, 'tis 2 months, my lord. So long. Nay then, let the devil wear black, for I'll have a suit of sables. Oh heavens, died 2 months ago and not forgotten yet. There's still a hope a great man's memory may outlive life half a year. But by Our Lady, I must build churches then, or else I shall suffer not think on with the hobby horse, whose epitaph is for oh, the hobby horse is forgot. So now we're going to see the play. What we read next is what's happening in the play. So we enter a king and a queen, and the queen is embracing him, and he her. She kneels and makes a show of protestation upon him. He takes her up and declines his head upon her neck. He lies him down upon a bank of flowers, and she, seeing him asleep, leaves him. Comes in another man, who takes off the king's crown, kisses it, pours poison in the sleeper's ear, and leaves him. The queen returns and finds the king dead, and makes passionate action. The poisoner, with some 3 or 4 others, come in again, and they seem to condole with her. The dead body of the king is carried away, and the poisoner woos the queen with gifts. She seems harsh a while, but in the end accepts his love. What means this, my lord? Mary, this is mission malatio. It means mischief. But like the show imports the argument of the play. We shall know by this fellow, the players cannot keep counsel. They tell all. Will it tell us what the show meant? I or any show that you will show him, but be not you ashamed to show. He'll not shame to tell you what it means. You are not, you are not. I'll mark the play. For us and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently. Is this a prologue or the posse of a ring? It is brief, my lord, as woman's love, as brief as woman's love, as short as how much you loved me. So we get the fake king and queen who enter on the stage. So full 30 times hath Phoebus's cart gone round, Neptune's salt wash, and Tellus's orbed ground. So that 30 times, it's been 30 days, it's been a month. And 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen about the world have times 12, 30s, been since our hearts and hymen did our hands unite in most sacred bands. So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again, court or love be done. But woe is me, you are sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former status, that I distrust you. Yet, though I distrust, discomfort you, my lord, if nothing must. For women's fear and love hold quantity, if neither aught or in extremity. But now, what my love is, proof have made you know, and as my love decides, my fear is so. Where love is great, the little doubts are fear. Where little fears grow great, great loves grow there. So this is again, hey, they got married in a month. Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers their function leave to do, and thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and happily, one is kind. For husband shall thou. Oh, confound the rest, such love must needs be treason in my breast. Can second husband let me accurse? None wed the second, but who killed the first. The one who marries the second, I'm sorry, I'm marrying the second king who had killed the first. That's wormwood, that's bitter medicine. These instances that second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. At second time, I kill my husband dead when second husband kisses me in bed. Even though my husband's dead, it kills him again to know that I'm dishonoring him so. I do believe you think what now you speak, but what do we determine oft we break? Purpose is but slave to memory, a violent birth but poor validity, which now the fruit unripe stick on the tree, but fall unshaken where they mellow be. Most necessary, 'tis we forget to pay ourselves what to ourselves is debt. What to ourselves in passion we propose, this passion ended, doth the purpose lose. The violence of either grief or joy, their own enactures themselves destroy. Where joy most revels, grief doth most lament. Grief joys, joy griefs on slender accident. This world is not for aye, nor 'tis not strange that even our loves should not with our fortunes change. For 'tis a question left us yet to prove, whether love lead fortune or else fortune love. This great man down, you mark his favorite flies. The poor advanced makes friends of enemies. And hitherto doth the love on fortune tend, for those who need shall never lack a friend. And who in want a fellow doth a hollow friend doth try, directly seasons him his enemy. But orderly to end where I begun, our wills and fates do contrary run, that our devices still are overthrown, our thoughts are ours, their ends none of our own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead. Not earth to give me food, nor heaven light, sport to response locked me from day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope, to anchor's cheer in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy, meet what I would have well, and it destroy. Both here and hence pursue my last in strife, if once a widow, ever I be a life. So that's the queen saying, I'll always love him. If she should break it now, 'tis deeply sworn, sweet, leave me here a while, and my spirits grow dull, and fame I will begall, the 10th day with sleep. And he goes to sleep. So before we keep going, I just want to kind of mention, like, so keep in mind, like, so this is Shakespeare. It's written in Old English, it's written as a play. If you're noticing, a lot of the book rhymes. Most of the book rhymes. Like, just think about how hard that would be. He's written, I don't know, like 50 plays, something like that, in like 20 years to like this level of technical depth. It's quite impressive. He's considered, probably the best writer of all time. I know it's an old English, but okay. So page 82. Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain. Exits. Madame, how did you like this play? The lady doth protest too much, methinks. She's making too many promises. Oh, but she'll keep her word. Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in it? No, no, but they do but jest, poison in jest. No offense is in the world. What do you call the play? The Mousetrap. Mary, how tropical. This play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the duke's name. His wife, Baptista. You shall see anon. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that, your majesty? And we have free souls, it touches us not. Let galled jade wince, our withers are unrun. Now we enter a character we haven't seen before, Lucianus. This one, Lucianus, nephew to the king. You are as good as a chorus, my lord. I could interpret between you and your love if I could see that your puppets dallied. You are keen, my lord. You are keen. It would cost you a groaning to take off my edge. You'd have to sleep with me to distract me. Still better and worse. So you mistake your husbands. Begin, murderer. Leave thy damnable faces and begin. Come, the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge. Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, and time agreeing. Confederate season, else no creature seeing. Thou mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's band thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property, O wholesome life, usurps immediately, and he pours the poison in the sleeper's ears. Appoisons him in the garden for his estate. His name's Gonzago. The story is extant and written its very choice in Italian. You shall see how the murder gets the love of Gonzago's life. Ophelia, the king rises. The king's leaving in the middle of the play. She's pointing this out. The king just got up and left right after the poison got poured in the ear. What, frightened with false fire? How fares my lord? Give over to the play. Give me some light, away. Lights, lights, lights. And so everyone exits except for Hamlet and Horatio. So they call off the play because the king decides he wants to leave. Why, let the strucken deer go weep, the heart ungulled play, for some must watch while some must sleep. Thus the world runs away. Would not this stir and a forest of feathers if the rest of my fortunes turn dark with me, with provincial roses on my raised shoes, get me a fellowship and a cry of players, half a share, a whole one, for I dost thou know, O Damon dear, this realm dismantled was of Jove himself, and now reigns here, very, very Padjock. You might have rhymed. Oh, good Horatio, I'll take the ghost's word for £1,000. Didst proceed. Hamlet says, I believe the ghost. Is this what you think too? Very well, my lord. Yes, that's what I think too. Upon the talk of the poisoning, I did very well note him. I paid really close attention to the king then. Come, such music. Come the recorders. For if the king like not the comedy, why then? But likes he like it like... Why then? But like he likes it not. Purdy, come some music. And Rosencrantz and Guildenstern join. Good, my lord, vouchsafe me a word with you. Sir, a whole history. The king, sir. Aye, sir, what of him? Is in his retirement, marvelous distempered. He's very upset. With drink, sir? No, my lord, with choler, with anger. He's very angry and upset. Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to the doctor. For me to put him in his purgation with perhaps plunge him into more choler. Good, my lord, put your discourse into some frame and start not so wildly from my affair. I am tame, sir, pronounce. The queen, your mother, is most great affliction with spirit, have sent to me. Your mother really, really wants to talk to you. You are welcome. Nay, good my lord, the courtesy is not of the whole right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do to your mother's command. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business. Sir, I cannot. What, my lord? I cannot make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased, but such answers I can make. You shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more, but to the matter, the my mother, you say. Thus she says, your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration. O wonderful son, that can do so astonish a mother, but if there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration, in part, she desires to speak with you in the closet ere you go to bed, in your private chambers. We shall obey. Were she 10 times her mother, have you any trade with us? My lord, you once did love me, and still do, by these pickers and stealers. I swear on my hands, I do still love you. Good, my lord, what is the cause of your distemper? You do surely bar the door open upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friends. You know, you're purposely keeping stuff from us. You're not talking to us. What's going on? Sir, I lack advancement. I have nothing to look forward to in life. How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark? Like, what do you mean you have nothing to look forward to? You're the future king. Aye, sir, but while the grass grows, the proverb is something musty. And so we have the players enter. Oh, the recorders, let me see one. To withdraw with you, why do you go about to recover the wind to me, as if you would drive me to a toil? Oh, my lord, if my duty to be too bold, my love is too unmannerly. I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe? And thus he shoves a pipe into his face, into Guildenstern's face. My lord, I cannot. I pray you, believe me, I cannot. I do beseech you. I have no touch of it, my lord. It is as easy as lying. You know, blowing air into this flute is as easy as lying. Govern these vestiges with your fingers and thumb. Give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops. You know, again, he's saying, like, you know, you're so good with words and like with your lies that I'm sure you could play this for, like, you know, be a master of this instrument. Blow your air in there. But these cannot I command to the utterance of the harmony. I have not the skill. Why, look at you, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mysteries, and you would sound me from the lowest note to the top of my compass. And yet there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet cannot you to make it speak. Splud, do you think I am easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you fret me, you cannot play on me. So, you know, he's using this recorder, this flute, as you know, as a metaphor here. You know, you're trying to play me. How about you play this fiddle instead, basically? So Polonius enters. God bless you, sir. My lord, the queen would speak with you, and presently, immediately, now. Do you see yonder cloud that's almost the shape of a camel? By the mass, and 'tis like a camel indeed. Methinks it's like a weasel. It is back like a weasel, or like a whale, very like a whale. You know, this is him just like, you know, he's messing with Polonius here. He's like, yeah, I'm crazy. Look how crazy I am. I see different things. Then I will come to my mother, and by, they fool me to the top of my bend. I will come by and by. I would say so. By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. And thus everyone leaves, and Hamlet is now alone. Tis now the very witching time of night, when courtyards yawn and hell itself breathes out, contagion to the world. Now could I drink hot blood, and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on, soft, now to mother. O heart, lose to not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. I'm gonna be a dick to her. I'm gonna be really cruel to her, but I'm not gonna harm her. My tongue and soul would be hypocrites. How, in my words, someone should be shent to give seals my soul consent. And so we are on scene 3. So we have the King, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern. So those are the 2 spies. So in Act 3, here's what's happening. The king wants to send Hamlet away from Denmark to England. and he's going to try and ease his guilty conscience in prayer. So the king's feeling guilty about what he did. He murdered the other king. So he's going to try and pray to get his sins away. And so Hamlet is going to get provided with an unexpected opportunity to avenge his father. I like him not, nor strands it safe with me, to let his madness reign. Therefore prepare you. I, your commission with forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you go. The terms of our estate may not endure, hazard so near as doth hourly grow out of his brows. It's not safe to let his madness remain unchecked. He needs to go with you two. You two are going to take him to England and get rid of him. We will ourselves provide, most holy and religious fear it is, to keep those many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty. The single and peculiar life is bound with all the strength and armor of the mind, to keep itself from nonsense, but with much more, that spirit upon which weal depends and rests the lives of many, the cess of majesty dies not alone, but like a Goth doth draw what's near it with it, or with a massy wheel fixed on the summit of the highest mount. To those huge spokes 10,000 lesser things, and mortise and a joint, with which it fails, each small amexment, petty consequence, attends the boisterous ruin. Never alone did the king sigh, but with a general groan. Arm you, I pray you, to the speedy voyage, for which he fretters put this about this fear, which now goes too free-footed. We will haste us. And now it's just the king and Polonius. My lord, he's going to his mother's closet. Behind the array, I'll cover myself. I'll hide behind the curtain. To hear the process, I warrant she'll tax him home. She'll speak plainly. She'll convince him to speak plainly. And as you said, and wisely was it said, 'tis meet that makes some more audience than a mother, since nature makes them partial, should overhear the speech of vantage. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you where you go to bed and tell you what I know. Thank you, my dear lord. And now it's just the king by himself. Oh, my offense is rank. My offense is rotten. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest cursed upon it. It has the oldest evil on it. A brother's murder, pray I cannot, though inclination be as sharp as will. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand and pause where I first began. I don't know what to do. With both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough from in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Did I commit an act so foul that God can never forgive me? Whereto serves mercy but to the comfort of the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardon being down? Then I'll look up, I'll pray, I'll look up to God. My fault is past, but oh, what form of prayer? I'm going to pray for forgiveness. Can serve my turn. Forgive me, my foul murderer, and that cannot, since I am still possessed of those effects with which I did the murder. I'm, how come I did it? Because I'm still greedy. I still want the crown. I still want the queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense? Can I be pardoned for this, but still keep my crown? In the corrupted currents of this world, offense's gilded hand may be shoved by justice, and oft is seen the wicked prize itself, buys up the law, but 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in its true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give in evidence. What then? What rest? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet what can it? When one cannot repent, O wretched state, O bosom black as death, O limited soul that's struggling to free, art more engaged, help angels, make essay, bow stubborn knees, and hearts with strains of steel, but soft as sinews as the newborn babe. All may be. And so he kneels. And so while he's doing this praying, Hamlet enters. So Hamlet catches the king by himself, kneeling, confessing to this murder. Now I might do it, Pat. Now is praying, and now I'll do it. Now I can kill the king. And Hamlet draws his sword. And so a goes to heaven, and so I am revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do the same villain send to heaven. Sorry, I lost myself. Oh, to heaven. Why, in this hire in salary, not revenge, I took my father's glossly full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, as flush as May. But now his audit stands, who knows, save heaven. But in our circumstances and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Should I actually kill him? He's praying right now. He's God may have just washed away all his crimes. He seasoned his soul, where if he dies right now, he goes to heaven. So does he actually kill him now? Up, sword, and know thou a most horrid hint, when he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at game of swearing, or about some act, that he relish no of salvation in it. Whenever he's doing some type of a sin, then trip him, and then his heels may kick at heaven, that his soul may be damned and black as hell, whereto it goes. My mother stays, the psychic, but prolong thy sickly days. So he catches the king. He's ready to pounce. He's ready to kill the king until he realizes that by doing so, he would sentence the king to go to heaven. And he doesn't want that. He wants the king to go to hell. So he has to wait. He has to wait until he's in a sinful act. So Hamlet exits, and now it's just the king by himself. My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go. So now we're on scene 4, which is going to be our last scene of the act. We'll take a break after this scene. So in scene 4, we have Polonius is hiding behind the curtain, and he's going to overhear Hamlet's conversation with his mother. The conversation where they anticipate he'll actually be true, speaking the truth for once. He's going to pay with his life for this. He's going to die. Hamlet is going to confront Gertrude with her guilt, and only the ghost is going to put an end to the tirade of abuse. So enter the queen and Polonius. A will come straight. Look, you lay home to him. Talk sense to him. Have him talk sense to you. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace has screened and stood between. Much heat in him, I'll silence me, even here. Pray you round. I'll warrant you fear me not. Withdraw, I hear him coming. So the queen knows that he's going to be spying upon this. And so Polonius goes and hides behind the curtain. So enter Hamlet. Now, mother, what's the matter? Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended. You have offended your father too much. Mother, you have offended my father. You have my father much offended. They're talking about different people, of course. Come, you answer with an idle tongue. Go, you question with a wicked tongue. Why? How now, Hamlet? What's the matter now? Have you forgotten me? Have you forgotten who I am, that I'm your mother? No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And were it not so, you are my mother. Nay, then I'll set those to you that you can speak. Come, and sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass, where you may keep the inmost part of you. What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me? Help ho. And Polonius, from behind the curtain, screams, what ho, help. How now, a rat dead for decant, dead. And so he takes his sword and he thrusts it into the curtain, stabs it blindly into the curtain when he hears a noise coming from it. And then Polonius says, oh, I am slain. He dies. Oh me, what hast thou done? Nay, I know not. Is it the king? And he lifts up the curtain and he discovers that it is actually Polonius. He hoped it was the king. Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this. A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother. So almost as bad as killing a king and marrying his brother. So this is when he tells his mother, "Mother, you killed my dad, and then you married his brother." So he accuses her of the murder. As kill a king, she's confused. What the heck are you talking about? So this is something that, like, oh, she's innocent with this. So as kill a king, "Aye, lady, it was my word, thou wretched, rash, inducing fool, farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Take thy fortune, thou'st find me too busy in some danger. Leave wringing of your hands, peace, sit you down, and let me wring your heart, for so I shall. It be made of penetrable stuff, if damned custom have not brassed it so, that it be proof and bulwark against sense. What have I done, that thou shalt wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?" Hamlet, such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty. Call virtue hypocrite, take off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love, and set a blister there, makes marriage vows. As false as Dicer's oath. Oh, such a deed as from the body of contraction plucks from the very soul. And the sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words. Heaven's face does glow over the solidity and compound mass, with listful visage as against the doom, is thought sick at the act. Ay me, what act that roars so loud and thunders an index? Look here upon this picture and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers, the fake love of two brothers. See what a grace, and seated on this brow, Hyperion's curled in front of Jove himself, and eyes like Mars that threaten and command, a station like a herald Mercury, new lighted on the heaven-kissing hill, a combination in form and deed, where every god did seem to set his seal, to give the world assurance of a man. That was your husband. Your husband was the combination of all the best features of the gods. That was your husband. Look at now what follows. Look at who you married now. He is your husband, like a mildew ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you see this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor? Ha, have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age, the heyday in the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? Sense you have, else could you not have the motion? But sure that sense is apoplex, for madness would not err. So again, you married, you went from this, this God-given man to your current husband. And like, I know it's because you're not in love. You're too old to have that, that stupid passion for it. You're supposed to be sensible, but what you did is not sensible. Now, sense to ecstasy was never so thrall, but it reserves some quantity of choice to serve in such a difference. What devil was it that thus had cozened you at hoodman blind? What devil made you blind? Even without feeling without sight, ears, without hands or eyes, smelling sans all, or with a sickly part of one true sense, could not be so mope. Oh shame, where's thy blush? Rebellious hell, if thou couldst my time in matron's bones, to flame in youth let virtue be as wax, and melt in her own fire, proclaim no shame, and let the compulsive ardor give the charge, since frost itself as actively doth burn, and reason panders will. Again, he just keeps calling his mom crazy and stupid for like what she's done. Could you not see him? Could you not hear him? Could you not feel him, taste him? All the stuff like that. You should have known with all your senses that he is scum. O Hamlet, speak no more. Thou'st turned my eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black ingrained spots as will not leave their intinct. So she's disgusted with herself. The queen's disgusted with what she's done. The queen's disgusted that she quickly remarried Claudius. Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty. Oh, speak to me no more. These words are like daggers, enter my ears. No more, sweet Hamlet. A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your president lord, a vice of kings, a cutpurse of an empire and rule, that from a shelf of a precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket. Again, this thief stole the crown. No more, a king of shrewds and patches, and thus the ghost enters. So he's just given his mom like a verbal licking, right? Like just beating down on her. His words are like daggers, and the ghost enters, the ghost of his father. Save me and hover me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What would your gracious figure? Alas, he's mad. Do you not come your tardy son to chide, that, lapse in time and passion, let go by? The important part of your dead command, oh say. Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. So, the ghost saying, do not forget, the reason I'm here once again to remind you what you're actually meant to do. Your blunted purpose. I'm sharpening your blunted purpose. Right now, you're attacking your mother. Your mother is who is not to blame. You're meant to attack Claudius. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit in weakest bodies, strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet. So she cannot see the ghost. How is it with you, lady? Alas, how is it with you that you do not bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse? Forth at your eyes your spirits wildly peep, and as the sleeping soldiers in the alarm, your bedded hair, like lightning excrements, start up and stand on end. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper, sprinkle cool patience. Where do you look? Calm down, son. On him, look at how pale he glares. His form and cause conjoined, preaching to stones, would make them capable. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effects. Then what I have to do, what will true color, tears perchance for blood. To whom do you speak this? Do you see nothing there? Nothing at all. Yet all that I see. Nor do you hear nothing. No, nothing but ourselves. I don't see this ghost. I don't hear this ghost. Why, look at you there. See how it steals away. My father in his habit as he lived. Look where he goes, even now, out at the portal. And the ghost exits. This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in. So the queen cannot see the ghost, and I think you've kind of made this up. My pulse as yours doth temperately keep time, and makes as healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reward, which madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not the flattening unction to your soul, that not your trespass, but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film an ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption, mine and all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not speak the compost on the weeds to make them rancor. Forgive me this my virtue, for in the fatness of this pursy times, virtue itself of vice must pardons beg. Yes, curb and woo for leave to do him good. O Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain. You've cut my heart in two. Oh, throw away the worser part of it, and live in the pure with the other half. Good night, but go not to my uncle's bed. Assume her virtue if you have it not. Pretend to have virtue if you truly have none. That monster, custom, with all dots to eat, of habits evil, is angel yet in this, that to the use of actions fair and good he likewise gives a frocky or livery, that aptly is put on. Refrain tonight, and thou shalt lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, the more easy. For use almost can change the stamp of nature, and either lodge the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more, good night, and when you are desirious to the best, I'll bless and beg of you. For the same Lord I do repent, but heaven hath pleased it so, to punish me with this, and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. The heavens themselves have named me as their executioner. I will bestow him, and the answer well, the death I give him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. I've been saying all this evil stuff because I love you. The bad begins and the worst remains behind. Once more, good lady. What shall I do? Not this, by no means, that I bid to you. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed. So he's making a plot here. Let the bloat king, let the fat drunk king tempt you again to bed. Pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, or let him for a pair of reachy kisses. or paddling your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. So again, you're going to help me. You're going to lure the king to your bed when he's drunk and horny, and I'm going to pretend to be mad in the meantime. Mad in craft. 'Twere good you let him know, for who that but a queen, fair, sober, wise, would from a paddock, from a bat, a gib, such seer concernance hide? What would do so? No, and despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket to the house's top, let the birds fly, and the famous ape did try conclusions in the basket's creep, and break your own neck down. Be thou assured, if words be made of breath, and breath of life, and I have no life to breathe, what thou hast said to me, I must to England, you know that. Alack, I had forgotten. 'Tis so concluded on. So it's decided. You have to go to England, Hamlet. These letters sealed, and my two schoolfellows, whom I trust as with thy adders fanged, I trust them with their venomous fangs. They bear the mandate, they must sweep my way and marshal me to knavery. They have, I know that they're gonna bring me to England. Let it work. I'll go with the plan, for 'tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own petard, and shan't go hard. I will delve 1 yard below their mines, and blow them at the moon. Oh, it is most sweet. Oh, it is most sweet when in one line two crafts directly meet. This man shall send me packing. I'll lug the guts into the neighbor room. Mother, good night indeed. This counselor is now most still, most secret, and most grave. Who was in life a foolin' prating knave. Come, sir, to draw an end towards you. Good night, mother. And so Hamlet exits, dragging Polonius behind him. And it's just the queen left. So that's the end of Act 3. Just as a quick summary there is like what Hamlet was saying there, the last page. Again, he's enacted a plot. He's telling the queen, hey, I'm going to pretend I'm crazy. You know I'm being sane right now. You're going to lure the king in. You're going to get him to sin, thus blackening his soul. What's Hamlet going to do? He's going to kill him. He's going to go to hell. And that's the end of the story. That's what his plan is. He also knows that Claudius is plotting against him, right? His two school friends are going to be told to take him to England. So what's he going to do with them? He's going to go with them, but he's going to be one step ahead. When you see that thing, oh, but I'll delve 1 yard below their minds. I'll dig a little deeper than their plan. I'll counteract their plan. So he's going to have a plan to get away from them. So with that, we'll take our 15-minute break here. Sorry, really quickly, before you go, if you have not yet done so, you were sent an email about a week or two ago of a form to fill out. It's an end of the year form. It's just about how did you hear about the program? What did you like about it? It's really, really important. Like of all the things, it's the most important thing you do. It's how they get their funding. Please fill that out if you have not done so yet. And you also get the opportunity to give feedback on me. I don't see it. If you're like, I hate this guy, this is your chance to really get back at him. Oh, perfect. Thank you. We'll come back in about 15 minutes. Oh, questions? I'll give you a second to get there. This is Act 3, Scene 1, line 56 in the novel. Just so we have that information as context in case you ever go back. So this whole soliloquy, this whole solo speech, all it's really boiling down to is, at its core, this is Hamlet debating with himself. Whether him having patient endurance. Ooh. Patient endurance of something that's wrong is more honorable than what he calls courageous opposition. Additionally, that's one of the major points. The other major point here is Hamlet wonders whether it's more noble to endure life's hardships, right? Life's hard. Is it better to endure that or better to end his suffering through death? So he does this speech and then he acts like a dick to Ophelia right after. The main reason for this is load up the book here. The part of it is because one, she rejected him. That is part of it, but it's deeper than that. Two, he's worried she is part of the plot against him, right? With Claudius and Polonius, right? He's not sure if he can trust her. Ooh. Which kind of leads us to our next point here is his closest friends betrayed him, right? His closest friends were sent to spy on him, and they told him that, hey, we were sent to spy on you. And four, it might be an attempt to pretend being mad. He could just be pretending to be mad. His cruelty could be, a cover. Um, just a couple more here. So when after the play ends, Hamlet has this interaction with his two childhood friends, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. The difference here is in the first one, in his first interaction with them, he was, he was kind of pretending to be mad. In this interaction, he is blunt, does not try to act mad. He's not pretending anymore. But also, he knows they are trying to play him. Right? The reason I've used play there is because of the flute, right? Hey, if you're trying to play me, why not play this flute instead? And then finally, how come he doesn't choose to kill him? How come he doesn't choose to kill the king when he finally catches him? He's low and he has the chance. He's fresh, full of vengeance. It's been confirmed to him. He doesn't want Claudius to go to heaven as he was praying. So he needs to catch Claudius in a sinful act. He needs to guarantee he's going to go to hell. Okay. Okay, so that's going to end Act 3. We are going to start Act 4. I don't think we're going to get all the way through it. In fact, we probably won't. Okay.